What's going on, everybody? Aaron Snyder with Born Primitive Outdoor, and today I wanted to talk about kit bags. A kit bag, I mean, there's different names for this, but it's basically the pack that you wear on your chest that carries your kit. And that is obviously different than a bino harness. Now, I already did a video. There'll be a link down below or up here somewhere that you can check out that video, and that is on the Marsupial gear bino harness and all the different gear I carry in the accessory pouch or whatever else when I'm out in the wild scouting or hunting. But I don't always wear binoculars, and so I don't always have a binocular chest pack on me. And when I don't, and also when I'm teaching courses, I'm going to have a kit bag on. I'm also going to have a kit bag in my vehicle at all times, with a few different items that I have in this one. But there's a few big differences. So when I'm out hunting with my binocular harness, obviously I've got a basic amount of gear in there just to get water, stay alive, build a fire. And it's just enough. But those binoculars take up quite a bit of room. So in that kit bag, obviously I've got a lot of different stuff that I don't have in the bino harness. One difference, though, when I carry a kit bag, I always have a pistol down below, and when I wear a bino harness, I just don't like doing that. So with the kit bag, both in my vehicle and when I'm out in the wild, I've got a 10 millimeter, either this bad boy, which is a Glock 40. Luckily with this, it's kind of handy. If I miss a lot, I can beat the bear to death because this bad boy is heavy, and it goes back in pretty easy. You buckle it up. So either I have that, or this is probably my favoriteest gun of all time. This is the SIG 320 10 mil ported. I've got a couple of these. This has got the Romeo 2 up top. I got a different holster that attaches to the bottom for that Romeo 2. But I'm going to have a 10 mil on my kit bag at all times. The other thing that I don't use on my bino harness that I use on this is this giant knife that I would normally make fun of on my shoulder strap. When I'm hunting or scouting, I never have a knife here on my bino harness. But when I'm out hiking around, sometimes I might, but I definitely do when I'm teaching courses on survival or land nav, knot tying, whatever. I'm going to have a knife up here. Now, this is the Stonewall from Montana Knife Company, but for these next courses, I'm probably going to end up having their sear that they just came out with. A little bit better for batoning, things like that. So that's another difference. I'm going to have that up here. Especially when I'm teaching courses. And then inside of this, it's way different. And I can just carry more stuff in the kit bag. So what I'm going to do now is get this down on the table below me, set it out, and just start going through what's inside of it. And then a few of the small changes from when I'm going out in the wild and wearing a kit bag to compared to what I have in my chest rig or my kit bag in the vehicle. Sorry, I get a little tongue twisted there, because when I have a kit bag in the vehicle, it's just got a little bit different stuff than when I'm hiking out in the wilderness. So I'm going to reposition the camera, sit down, and start dumping this bad boy out. Again, this is the Marsupial Gear Multipack, and I don't have any attachments on it but that pistol holster down on the bottom. So I'm going to shut up and get going on what's inside. Alrighty, this is the third time attempting to make this video. I didn't like the first two. So I've got some gear in front of me. This is the multi-pack from Marsupial Gear, my kit bag. I've got a couple knives, couple pistols, mags, GPS, life straw, and a compass. I just want to go over the differences of what I have in my kit bag in my vehicle compared to when I'm out in the wild, and what I have in my kit bag from when I'm instructing to when I'm just hiking around. There's some subtle differences. So I'll try to get through those real quick before I empty this out. My kit bag in my vehicle, I'm going to have 2 extra magazines. I'm going to have at least 2 extra mags inside of here, no matter what. When I'm in the wild, I'm just going to have the mag that's in the pistol. I don't want to carry the extra weight. So that's a big difference, whether that be the SIG 10 millimeter or the Glock. And I'm also probably going to have a 9 millimeter, a little bit smaller pistol in this for my vehicle kit bag. And then again, 2 extra mags, no matter what. Next thing, I'm probably not going to have a giant knife like this thing, which is the Stonewall. There's blood on that. I should probably clean it. Or that sear. I'm not going to have that on my shoulder, and I'm not going to have a big knife. I'm going to have a smaller knife and it's not going to be attached to my shoulder strap. It's probably going to be inside the kit bag for my vehicle. Now, as far as from when I'm teaching to when I'm just hiking around, inside this, as I go to dump it out, you'll see I have some Ziploc bags and some MSR Aqua tabs. Those are always going to be in here no matter what, because I use that gallon Ziploc bag, and we've done videos on this, for my emergency water purification storage bag, meaning I drop an Aqua tab in that gallon bag, let it sit 20, 30 minutes, and I can drink it. But when I'm hiking throughout the day and I'm not teaching a course, I'm going to carry a life straw. That allows me to not have to carry a water bottle or a bladder. I don't have to wear a hydro pack or anything. And I can just suck water out of the creek with this, but that will not go in there when I'm teaching courses. So I will have this with me, just not when I'm teaching or instructing. The next thing, I navigate personally off a Sunto M9 on my wrist at all times. This is not the best thing for students to learn from. So inside of here, and we'll go over that in a minute, I have a Silver Ranger. It's got a mirror on it. It's easier for me to show how to signal, obviously with the mirror. This doesn't have one, but also just teaching on how to shoot an azimuth or a bearing. And so the Ranger is inside of there when I'm teaching. I do not bring that as often when I'm by myself. I pull it out, get a little extra room, but I have this on me all the time. I am not a big fan of big GPSs, and so I've used this since it came out, the 401. This is now the 901 from Garmin. Generally, when I'm out and about, and especially if it's going to be a super rugged trip where it's going to be multiple days, I don't bring my Garmin Fenix. This is a rechargeable watch. I believe this is the best watch ever made. I will use this when it comes to navigation, the watch. I'll just hit that top right button to get my 6 or 8 digit grid coordinate, but I don't drop pins on this. I don't make waypoints. I use this for my steps, my altitude, all that kind of stuff. But when I'm actually going to be navigating and teaching courses, and overall just bushwhacking, I bring the 901. That's either going to be inside of the pack, attached to this strap, or on my wrist, depending upon what I'm doing. Again, so a few subtle differences as far as that goes. And not a huge deal, but I just wanted to mention that. But when I'm teaching a course, I'm probably not going to go in. I mean, this thing is not the easiest thing, the Phoenix, to teach someone, especially if you have 15 students. This is a little bit easier, that 901. So as far as this goes, again, down at the bottom, I got a pistol. I'm not sure, this is new here, this little D-ring. I'll try to hold this up, do a better job of that. This, my buddy showed me, and it's got a little cord cutter. It's always handy to have a D-ring, whether you're hanging up food or whatever else. Certainly I can rappel off this thing. And then it's got a little flint there. I'm not sure if this is going to make the cut, but I'm going to try it out for a few trips. Here I've got this is going to screw up my lighting, but back to normal. Yay. Okay. This is a Streamlight. This takes CR123 batteries. I love this flashlight. I've got a few of these. I have this and then 2 extra sets of batteries inside. I don't always carry this where I had that clipped on here, but my kit bag in my truck, I have it on there. And when I'm backpacking in, I'm not going to have that clip to the outside. That's stupid. You'll probably lose it. But when I'm teaching, I certainly will have it on the outside, especially in lower light, just for the simple fact you always need a flashlight. So Streamlight and Olight makes some good ones as well. So in front here, I've got a couple things. That is 22 gauge, I believe, stainless steel wire for when I'm teaching on how to snare. This here is just bank line, and I'm going to have some type of cord in here, 1.8 to 2.3 millimeter guy line or bank line in here. Well, that's whether I'm teaching or not. This I'm not always going to have with me, but usually I'll have a little bit of the 22 snare wire. Over here, this could be anything, but normally it's lens wipes and like a normal wipe. These are wet and a dry, and then a normal lens cloth. I'm usually going to have those in there for my glasses. When I wear glasses, which I usually do when I teach, or again, I'll have those in my bino harness as well. But sometimes I'm going to have Copenhagen in there. I could have anything, but I'm always going to have this stuff on me. This video is going to run long. Over here, I have sunscreen, and I have that on the outside of my pack because I'm horrible about putting it on. But if I have it out there, I'm probably going to. And this is also sunscreen because I'm that bad about it. This is from ProTech, but I generally use this on my nose, face, and my ears. And then this is going to go on my arms and neck. I don't always bring both of those, but I always have that ProTech with me. Getting inside of this bag, and there's a ton of room left in here. So this has one big main compartment and a couple slots back here. So I've got Scooby snacks. Those are First Form protein sticks and a fatty. This is my Montana Knife Company knife sharpener. I'm always going to have that with me. And then more cordage. This is 1.8, I think, millimeter guy line. I'm always going to have cordage with me when I'm hiking or teaching, but I'm definitely going to have extra when I'm teaching or instructing. That slot right there, the Silver Ranger, easy access. Sometimes I'm going to have a cord strapped to this just so when I give it to students, but I don't have it on this one. This is one I use personally. But over here, anticlimactic, this is drink mixes. So I've got, this is like Liquid IV, ProTech Energy, Hydrate Mixes, Element. This is actually a True Lemon. Anyway, I like to put crap in my water, especially electrolyte mix. And then again, I have this with me no matter what, Aqua Tabs, and I'll use that Ziploc bag when I need to store. So that covers the front of this. The inside, I have plenty of room left in this for more, especially magazines like I talked about. And then my two side pouches are now empty. So back here, and one thing I like about this pocket here is this one here opens pretty wide. When you're bending over, stuff can fall out of it. So stuff back here, if I leave this open, does not fall out nearly as easy. But in this pocket, flip this forward, pretty much always going to have my Michael Jackson Thriller gloves. These are Outdoor Research Merino fingerless gloves. Man, you can get these merino gloves on Amazon. The OR ones, I love Outdoor Research, but man, these were expensive. I got a deal on them, but fingerless gloves are handy. Then I've got a headlamp. I don't always bring a headlamp and that flashlight, but I'm always going to have the headlamp with me of some sort. My primary is a Princeton Tech Remix or Viz, but this was a headlamp I've had forever, and it's just handy to have in there. I may go with a rechargeable headlamp that's bright as shit for my vehicle kit bag that I can recharge. The ones I go in the wild, I don't like rechargeable stuff. So over here, hopefully you can see in there, I've got ferro rod and a striker. Especially when I'm teaching courses, I'm going to have this big one. It's easier for students to use. And then I've got a lighter, 2 Sharpies, definitely going to have one of those no matter what. An extra spoon because the fat kid in me is strong. And then, got to dig in there, I've got my 2 small strikers, and I have these no matter what. It's just, with students, it's easier to have them start with the big one than go to the smaller one. And these are ferro rods, and then use that same striker. And then I've got 4 extra batteries for that Streamlight flashlight. And there those are. It's always good to have extra batteries. On this side, hopefully you can see in there, earplugs, trioxane, some fire tabs here, surgical blades. Okay, good there. In this, there's a zippered pocket here. Sometimes I'm going to have my identification, wallet, credit card, extra money. But right now, I just have the extra Ziploc bags. I've got 2 quarts and 1 gallon. Sometimes I'll bring a couple of the gallon ones. And again, I use that more than anything for water purification. I've got room left inside of here, but that's all that's inside. Now in this back pocket, and I don't always do this, but I'm going to have some type of toilet paper, wipes somewhere in this. These are actually wipes I purposely let dry out. And these are good for everything from wiping your butt to cleaning off your glasses or whatever else. They're really good for like if somebody nicks their hand. That is up against your chest though, and that will seep into these, which might make for a more pleasant wiping experience. So that's everything that I have inside this. And again, few subtle differences between the vehicle, hiking around, and instructing. But this, I strongly suggest for everyone to get one of these, at least for their vehicle, maybe for backpacking and hiking. And again, this is the Multipack from Marsupial Gear. If you have any questions on this, if you do something a little different, I always like to learn. Throw it down in the comment section, and I'm horrible about this. Make sure to subscribe to our page and like our video. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to put this crap back in here and go clean my garage and walk my dog.